Today I took 3 trades, all on the same setup. And I thought, well, this whole general move, I thought it was a very good setup, but um, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. And I didn't keep my original stop loss. If I did, then I would have just profited on this trade, but instead I took a loser and another winner, but with less size. So today, after big rallies, I mean, it's been rallying pretty much all week, and all the pivot relationships were bullish. So pivots, floor pivots here were bullish, and cams were also bullish. I did have this high volume node ledge on this uptrend here. So that was an area that I was looking at, especially because it had confluence with this 90-minute fair value gap. So yeah, that was kind of what I was looking at. We were opening up above value area high and yesterday's high, so above value area and range, and also opening up above CPR. But it was inside H3 and L3. So my main plan today was to long this high volume node ledge here and fair value gap. If not, and it rallies up to H3 or even the all-time highs here, then I would look to short there. But I was less confident in those levels, and I was more confident over here in this fair value gap. And if it comes all the way down to value area high, then I would try long here, especially with L3 providing confluence here. So long here, or short somewhere here. That was my plan. And I said close is bullish, pivot relationships are all bullish, trend is bullish, open is bullish, no supply zones. Yeah, only thing I can think of doing is longing a continuation, is what I said. Because I don't know if I want to short all-time highs. I'll keep an eye out on the fair value gap and the high volume node ledge there. And I wouldn't want it to fall all the way down to value area high, but if it does, I'll try it. So that was what I was looking at going in, and it was pretty boring for the first, 30 minutes. And I thought it was going to be a no trade day, honestly, because it was just chopping around here, just like that. And then suddenly a bunch of sellers came in, and then it sold off. So it initially came into this yesterday high level at 70.64 or so. So then I saw this bounce, and I was like, I could try long here, but I said I don't like it because I don't have any confluence with anything else that's at the yesterday high level. And if it's just yesterday high or yesterday low, I haven't seen much success with those levels just by itself. So I did not take any trade off of that level, and it's a good thing I didn't, because I would have gone stopped out. So then there's a sell-off, and it comes into the fair value gap and high volume node ledge. So I'm looking at it here. I'm very interested. 70.54 here, so comes all the way down to 70.46. And I'm looking at it here for a little retest. I'm not seeing any B shape or anything, but there is this context of RSI normal divergence. So price broke the lows here, 70.59, but RSI was still higher than these lows. So that was a RSI normal divergence. I also saw that it was kind of a B shape here with the POC at the bottom, lots of selling delta at the bottom. So I was interested. I also saw that the delta was about to break lows, but the price wasn't anywhere near lows. So I saw that and I said, that's good enough for me. And I saw this 20 range delta divergence forming. And I said, that's good enough. And I entered with just one contract because I thought it was kind of an early entry. I wanted a little more of a deeper pullback and a retest. But if I count this as a B shape, then it did retest this B shape and then retest that POC also, and then started bouncing. So decided to get in with one contract, especially because it was a little bit of a bigger stop, although I ended up it ended up being 6 points, and it's not too bad, but entered with one contract only. So I was at this point still trying to look to get another contract in, add another contract to my position here, because I thought this was a very good setup. It's right at my level, RSI normal divergence. And then CVD is about to make a hidden divergence here. So I just needed a little bit of a pullback that breaks these lows on delta, but doesn't break the lows on price. And I was pretty much golden on confirmations here. But I didn't. I guess it's a little bit of FOMO here because I don't want to miss the rally up. So I entered with one. And I see it reject, but it comes down. And when it comes down, it forms CVD hidden divergence, exactly like how I wanted to. Breaks the lows here, doesn't break the low on price, and it starts bouncing with a POC at the bottom here. So I add another contract right here. Same place, bounces. Yeah, so CVD hidden divergence here, and then 20 range ends up as a delta divergence here, and then I think the 2-minute also ends up as a delta divergence. Yeah, so negative 380 here, but price closes higher, negative 400. Yeah, so it ends up with negative 329, but candle closes higher. Here on the 20 range, delta divergence, negative 725 delta, but candle closes higher. So I'm in with two contracts now. My target is right around 3R here, which was 70.70, which was also the VPOC of the day. And then if it goes higher, my second contract target was at 70.74 high of day. Because my thesis was that it would bounce here at high volume node ledge, and then go all the way through, go towards H3, and then towards all-time highs here. So breaking these highs were an absolute possibility here. So it's going, retested, and then started going back up. And it comes into VWAP here, which was also yesterday's high, which is also right around 2R. It didn't quite get to 2R here. It was 1 point away. But what I see here is this 3-minute high volume shooting star. And I really don't like that. It's also a high volume shooting star on the 5-minute. I really don't like that. And it was 1 point away from 2R. I also didn't like that it was forming it formed a delta divergence on the 2-minute here. It also formed a delta divergence on the 20 range chart here. Positive 500, but negative candle, and kind of a P shape over here. A bunch of buyers got stuffed there, and then started coming down. So I put my stop at break even. I was just 1 point away from 2R, so I didn't think it was worth holding, especially when there were short confirmations like this for a continuation downward. I don't think that was the worst decision. I mean, at the time at least, because who knows what can happen. But if I did have my original stop here, it would have never hit it, and it would have gone and hit both my targets. But I took it off at break even, and now I'm looking at this to bounce again, because if it supports here, I am ready to enter again. And I see it just kind of bouncing here at the same area, 70.48 or so, where it bounced before when I entered my second contract. So there's really no other confirmation. It's a continuation of the first setup, but nothing extra here, just a slight bounce at the same area that it bounced before. That was it. And so I enter again. I don't think this was the best entry. I don't think it was the best trade. It would have worked out if I had my stop under the lows instead of over here, where the higher low was, because it hit that stop to the tick and then started bouncing again. But yeah, no other confirmation, so I don't think this was a good trade at all, really. So it comes down, hits my stop loss to the tick, which was right below. Yeah, I was thinking about putting it under the lows, but I don't know what's going to happen at that point, so I just decided to let it sit at the right under here. And it hit that to the tick and then starts bouncing again. I see buying imbalances coming in here. And I enter again. This time there were a bit more confirmations here. So buying imbalances here, it's that same area 48 to 50 where all these sellers got stuffed previously. It held there again, started bouncing, and it was forming a delta divergence on the 20 range chart. Also on the 1 minute, you can see the 1 minute delta divergence here. Big red delta, but candle closed positive. There's also a, I think, a 1 minute high volume hammer here. So I liked that. But mainly I like this delta divergence here on the 1 minute and this CVD hidden divergence forming. So I enter with another one contract here. And after my entry, it seems like the 2 minute delta divergence formed. So negative 358, but positive candle. Same with the 20 range chart. It formed a delta divergence there. And also formed a hidden CVD divergence. Broke the lows here, but did not on price. So I thought it was good confirmations. I had my stop loss this time under the lows, just in case it comes back down. But yeah, it pretty much did absolutely nothing. Every time it gets to 55, it would reject. Initially, when it bounced, it rejected. So went up to 55, rejected. Went up to 55 again, rejected. Again, rejected 3 times now. And then another time here, 4 times now. And then finally starts breaking out here. So that was a very long stretch of doing absolutely nothing here, from 7:20 to about 7:40, so about 20 minutes of just bouncing inside. And I was really tempted to just take it off at break even and just call it a day, because I just did not want to see be in the trade that's just chopping around. But it finally broke out. It hit 2R, and then so now I have my stop at break even, but now it starts forming a delta divergence on a bearish delta divergence here, right at VWAP, which was right there at the swing high, the previous swing high where it rejected. So I was watching this carefully, seeing if I should take it off here, because we're in a kind of a downtrend and maybe it's a double top. But we did form a higher low here, so I was hopeful that it would break these swing highs and then break these high days and go all the way to the all-time highs here, which it seems like it's happening. So I held on, and there was a little sell-off right here, but quickly got absorbed, formed a delta divergence, which I really liked, so that gave me more confidence to hold until my target, negative 500 with positive candle. And yeah, so then it goes up to my target here at 70.70, which is my target, which is VPOC at the time too. So it also formed a delta divergence here on the 20 range chart. So I hold, and honestly I get greedy here. I wanted to hold till high of day 70.74, which is my final target, and it seemed like it was poised for a breakout, especially because it held on this pullback here, and as it broke the highs, I had my stop under here. But yeah, I thought there was a decent chance that it would go and hit the high of day, so I kept switching my target around from 74 to 70 to back to 74. I ended up just selling at 70, and it did hit 70, and then rallied up a few seconds later to hit 74. And then it rallied up to hit H3, a little pullback, and now it's going up towards all-time highs here. And yeah, so my thesis was great. Held that level beautifully, formed a higher low here, and then broke these highs, broke above H3, and now going towards the upper ledge here. So Thesis was great. If I just held this first position here, I would have profited. I would have taken one off here at 70.70 and then another one at 70.74. I would have been here for a while, but yeah, it would have worked out eventually. But I mean, at this point, I don't know if the higher low is going to form or not. So I think it was decent, especially because it was 1 point away from 2R. I think it was a decent decision to put out break even. The second trade, I think it was way too early, but I had more confirmations when this higher low formed. So the third trade was very good. I just wish that I entered with more contracts, but I mean, it was my third time trying the same setup, so at this point I didn't know what would happen. So I just entered with one. But good thesis either way.